Task management can be defined as the process of moving individual tasks across their unique life cycles. Sometimes a task can be immediate and independent, such as clean the bathroom. Other times it's a critical part of a larger project, such as submit finished product for review. In either case, there's a finite number of things that have to come together for the task to be considered complete. Task management is just seeing one particular task or balancing many through to completion. There are a number of ways to do this, and with the burgeoning availability of digital task and project management softwares, that number is only increasing. In this video, we will cover the following topics to keep track of tasks and get more done with less stress. 1. Keeping a journal or planner. 2. Keeping useful lists. 3. Prioritization techniques. And 4. Task management software. Keeping a journal is one of the oldest and most effective methods of accomplishing almost anything. A well-tended journal or planner is the standard against which all other project planning methods are compared. The best planner is one that you will use. For me, that means something with dates for scheduling tasks in advance, but still small enough that I can fit it in my pocket. Others may not mind carrying around a larger notebook and like to take advantage of the space it affords. Some people, like me, prefer a calendar to look ahead, while others simply write due dates into a blank journal. The most important thing to note here is that while we will be talking about some standard bookkeeping methods that work for most people, you need to find something that works for you, and that could be very personal and unique. Most people who keep effective journals will keep a backlog to store everything they want to do regardless of the due date. They continually reference this list, adding to it and assigning completion targets to the items that are already in it. One way to do this is to move items from the backlog into a monthly log, from a monthly log to a weekly log, and from a weekly log into a daily task list. This gradual escalation allows a clear path to understanding the bigger picture at work, while continually narrowing down and prioritizing certain tasks that need to be done first in order to accomplish something much larger. It's often very scary to look at a huge project. It's easy to think, oh, there's no way I'm going to be able to get this done, when you see the whole thing at once. But inch by inch, anything is a cinch. Breaking a problem down into the smallest parts almost always makes our responsibilities easier to process and complete. Here is an example of moving an item from a backlog to a monthly log, to a weekly log, and to a daily task list. Journals can be more than to-do lists, and you may find it beneficial to record other things beyond your tasks. If you record how you were feeling at various times of the day, or challenges that you faced regarding productivity, you may be able to look back on your entries to gain valuable data about trends or cycles that surface in your workplace, personal life, and psychology. This could be an important stepping stone to understanding your productivity in the long term, which you could leverage to produce more consistently good results. Regularly writing out and reviewing your personal and professional goals can also help you understand your primary motivations and can help remind you what all these little tasks are doing for you in your life. As mentioned before, lists are the backbone of almost every highly productive person's milieu. Keeping meaningful lists keeps us focused and gratified, and keeps our momentum moving forward. There's something about striking an item off a list that is just innately satisfying. In fact, there is strong evidence that the brain releases a neurotransmitter called dopamine when we cross through a task, giving us a strong sense of accomplishment and actually training our brains to stay motivated and continue working. This effect is more commonly reported when people keep their lists on paper, but many people find electronic lists better for them. We will discuss these in more depth in the final section. So, what makes a good list? Are any lists inherently better than others? The short answer is, the best list is the list that works for you. Some people will absolutely love making detailed and organized lists with deadlines, subtasks, and task status markers. Others will find that merely having a place to scribble their ideas and responsibilities and then crossing them off is ideal. What follows are 3 models that you may find helpful. The first is the most simple. Use a blank notebook to write down everything that is important, usually in a column. This method lends itself to a fast-paced work environment where the most important thing is that tasks get logged and completed in a timely manner. Those who excel with this method are good at writing everything down and don't mind going backwards in time a little bit to make sure everything gets done. This is because often details of a project will surface once it gets started that were not accounted for when the list was created. Meaning, some of what gets listed will be out of order. If you need a simple, streamlined way to list your tasks, this is the method for you. The next method, and the one that I personally use, involves a planner that has space both for writing notes and a calendar for marking deadlines. People who choose this method are in jobs that require them to plan ahead, sometimes into the distant future, but also need to be able to keep up with sudden changes and responsibilities that happen on a day-to-day basis. Being able to note firm deadlines on a calendar as a visual aid is important to these people, but listing out tasks, reminders, and notes is equally important. I like a planner that has a blank sheet on the left side for note-taking and the week's calendar on the right. There are several planners of this kind available from a number of different brands and a number of different sizes, or you could make your own. The next method of making lists that I will describe is more intricate. It involves creating detailed lists that have different status markers, stages, and deadlines. People who use this kind of list prioritize organization and control over their lives before speed. They may use different colors to denote different categories of tasks, such as operations, programming, customer service, etc. Or symbols they use to track tasks through different stages, such as in progress, testing, or completed. This kind of list requires a lot of upkeep. Flipping backward to see what stage older tasks are in, keeping on top of changing statuses and therefore more time. The benefit of this kind of list is that you get both the bird's eye view and the nitty-gritty details in one easy-to-see place. In addition to lists, many people find using reminders on their phones, watches, and computers extremely helpful. We are surrounded by technology in many ways at almost every stage of our day, and it is relatively easy to set a reminder on whatever device is around, especially with speech recognition technology. Many phones and tablets have a reminders app built in, and they're easily located online if not. Once you have a list, you have to do something with it. It's not useful to make a list and then not take any action on any of the tasks. Not every item on a to-do list is created equal. Essential to making progress on a list, especially a large list with lots of important things on it, is the ability to prioritize. This is even truer when time management is considered. There are numerous methodologies that can be applied to prioritizing a list. I will describe 3 here. Once you have created your list, you can determine the relative importance of each item with the ABCDE method. Invariably, some items will be more important than others or have more consequences if they are not done. Write an A next to each item that is very or extremely important. Write a B next to the items that are important but have fewer consequences if not done. Write the letter C next to those items that have no consequences, good or bad, if not done. Write a D next to items that you can delegate to others. And write an E next to items you can eliminate. This is a fantastic way to determine what is most important and to get working on that task right away. This is a time-tested method developed by Dwight Eisenhower. Draw a rectangle and divide it into equal quadrants. Label the left axis important and not important, and the top axis urgent and not urgent. Now, place each of your tasks in one of the quadrants according to where they fall on the matrix. Those that are important and urgent should be done immediately. Those that are important and not urgent can be deferred to a later time. Those that are not important but urgent should be delegated to someone else. And those that are neither urgent nor important should be avoided as much as possible. This is another kind of matrix that allows you to place your tasks based on a different set of criteria than the previous one. Those in the top left quadrant require little effort but have high value, so could be easily prioritized. The upper right and lower left quadrants have pros and cons, and if you have many tasks in both of them, they may require their own prioritization method to determine which to spend time on. The bottom right quadrant of low value and high effort should be avoided wherever possible. Use any of these prioritization methods, or more than one, and watch your productivity increase. As I mentioned earlier, there are lots of ways to manage your tasks using technology. The class of products and digital tools used to do this are usually called task management software. Most phones will come with some form of this technology, and it can be readily acquired online or in app stores in a variety of forms, both free and paid. While I mentioned that the effect a person gets from crossing a task off their list is usually found when using pen and paper, there are some definite advantages to using an electronic list or manager. For example, the good ones almost always have a to-do list function and a way to assign them dates and deadlines on a calendar with relative ease. They are also easy to change and update, and in many cases have a reminder feature built in to alert you about certain tasks at specific days and times. Some will allow you to categorize and prioritize your tasks and to view them in different ways, such as a calendar, table, Gantt chart, or Kanban board. While I won't recommend any specific product here, I do encourage you to research to-do list apps, project management software, and task management software, and try them out until you find one that works for you. If you take nothing else from this video, it is that to be productive, you need to determine what you are going to do in order to how you're going to do that in a way that works for you. Most of us have demanding work and personal schedules. Keeping useful lists, prioritizing them, and getting as much done as possible once we have the insight is a major ingredient of a successful life. That's it for this video. I'm David Buterbaugh from the Five Forks branch. Until next time, I wish you the best in your productivity journey.